Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 2 vs 2 on Pointe du Hoc, and in this one I'm going to be using the 716th Infantry Division again. I'm going to be playing with Val, who is going to be using the 352nd Infantry, and we are playing against Akula and Big Rat, who are going to be using the 3rd Armoured and 101st Airborne respectively. So this was a game that followed on from the previous 2v2 ranked that we played, and this is another ranked game that myself and Val threw ourselves into. Val's going to be trying out his 352nd deck. He hadn't really played that deck too much, so this was a bit of a shot in the dark, but he knew that I had a lot of success with the 716th, although, I mean, success is not quite the right word, because in a lot of the games that I have played with the 716th so far, I've taken a lot of losses, and it doesn't change too much in this one, that's for sure. I'll just put it that way. So this was a really interesting and fun game that I wanted to show you guys just because it was so intense. It was, me and Val were struggling. We were really struggling in this one, and there's a lot to talk about and a lot to say about the decks, and I think this is the game that maybe put me off playing the 716th Infantry with the introduction of the 101st and their really strong off-map artillery. So we'll see that come into play, and we'll just talk about what sort of units I'm bringing in. I'm just going to speed up the game, and we'll see where the focus lies throughout it. So I was going to take the left side of the map, I was going to take the right. We're both playing infantry decks that are very similar, so we can both safely hold each side of the deck or each side of the map ourselves, because he's going to be relying a lot on Osttruppen, I'm going to be relying a lot on Osttruppen. Here I have Fusiliers and Osttruppen moving up together. Here's Fusiliers and Osttruppen moving up, and over on the left side I've got Pax alongside Osttruppen, Command Infantry, and I've also got IG-18s as well. So these are the IG-18s moving up. Furthermore, I have a MG-34. And literally what I'm trying to do is rush up to this town as quickly as I can and basically try and take it. That's the idea here. And if I can control that town for the majority of the game, I'm hoping that we'll be able to win. So we're currently losing the +1. It's just because they pushed our line back quite far already. If I just shift click all of my units, you can see that this AT gun's actually moving around to the right side here. That was just so that I could cover off this road on the far right. What's going to happen is I'm dropping off this Pak 37. I've dropped off the Grenfuhrer to upvet that, just in case there's any armor coming down here. Dropped off the IG-18, and I've got a Fusilier squad in here. My Osttruppen are literally just moving around here. I'm trying to get them as close to the buildings as I can. And 50 cal is going to open up onto the IG-18, but this is a really useful unit for pinning down multiple units close to each other. So AB rifles do manage to get into this building, which is a problem. And, well, Mustang's going to come in with 2 10 HP power bombs and pin down my Pak 37 and the IG-18 here. He's doing the right job of using the airborne 50 cal to pin down and try and kill off the IG-18 specifically before I can do too much. But what's happened here is the unit in this building has been hit pretty hard. If I just jump into the neutral perspective, you can see the AB rifles here have been pinned down. And again, it's mainly due to my machine gun and my IG-18. He has a 50 cal doing the same thing to my infantry squads, but fortunately these guys are actually out of line of sight of the 50 cal. Bring in another P-51D Mustang, and, well, since he has 2 Mustangs on the go, look at what's happening to his right side. I've managed to sneak through both the Fusilier squad and the Osttruppen squad all the way through here, and he doesn't have that defended at all. So I've got this massive gap in his front line that I'm really taking advantage of at the moment. All of this infantry on the left side isn't holding me for long enough. I've actually just killed off his airborne leader thanks to my mortars here, and that's helped me get rid of some of the veterancy on his units. So letting that get killed was a big mistake of his, because now I've got these guys constantly pinned down. I've got the machine guns all on target, and this Mustang still flying about. Didn't have Evac Winchester turned on, so that's going to be flying around and continuing to harass me with its 50 cals. But that's not too much of an issue. My second IG is pinned down at the moment, thanks to the 50 cal. and the original IGA team was destroyed. However, this Pack 38 or Pack 37 managed to stay alive, which was quite important. Either way, managed to make the airborne rifles in this building surrender, and I've also got some direct hits landing on those Pathfinders, which is fantastic. My Fusiliers do get destroyed on the far right here from these airborne rifles. The gap's kind of been closed a little bit here because more reinforcements are coming in down the road, but I'm also going to be starting to bring in my own reinforcing Osttruppen. So I've actually managed to take control of the town by forcing his units to be fallen back, and with the 2 mortars here, they really did the work that I needed them to do after my IG-18s got slammed pretty hard by the bombing strikes early on. So I think what ended up happening in this game was, because my opponent, you know, bought 2 Mustangs at the start, he didn't have the same amount of infantry capacity on the ground and support capacity on the ground that I had. So what's ended up happening is I've managed to creep through units. For example, this unit here, the Osttruppen, does bomb them again, but that's fine, and these guys are still okay. I managed to take the town on the left side, and that's over 50%. So we're currently sitting on 52% lead. Fusiliers in the middle also creeping forwards with return fire, so they don't open up onto the airborne rifles and reveal their position. Also got Osttruppen in the middle as well. Osttruppen in the center with Val, we're just covering that off with a machine gun, and over on this right side, well, Val's actually having a little bit of an issue because his units have... He didn't really expect to run into a 2-star M4A1 in Phase A, so he's struggling with that, and his Befehlpanzer 8 or Befehlpanzer 3 doesn't really have the accuracy to hit that at close range, so yeah, that sucks at the moment for him. MG34, however, 800 meter range, is going to be slamming the 50 caliber machine gun here pretty hard, but I'm just reinforcing myself with more Osttruppen at this point, and well, when I say more Osttruppen, I mean 8 squads of Osttruppen, and basically this is another IG-18 and more Osttruppen. That's pretty much my reinforcements. I think at the beginning of the game I was concentrating so much on my micro that I actually forgot to bring in the reinforcements for the first minute, which is why I'm bringing in the equivalent of 2 minutes reinforcements in one go. So now all I've got to do is get these mortars up to hopefully kill the 50 caliber machine guns, and maybe I can make even more ground over on this side. However, 50 cals, they do have the range and suppression to stop me moving infantry across the open, so 2 of them is just going to be horrific. Here the Fusiliers are spotted by a Pathfinder unit, so they're going to be opening up with their 50 caliber machine gun. And what he probably should have been doing here is Big Rat could have pushed onto my Fusiliers with his Pathfinders, whilst the airborne leader kept their attention. I probably would have changed the attention onto the Pathfinders once they come out of cover, but either way, that's fine for now. Just maintaining that engagement. On the right side, M4A1's going to fall back, but Val actually lost his Panzer III, so that's not great for him. Still doesn't have an AT gun on this far right side, so I'm going to be bringing up one to help him out, since he really needs something to kill off the half track with the G50 cal and also the tank there. Over on the left side, again, artillery still coming in. Airborne engineers do fall back from the left side. They get pretty hard as they try and approach my Osttruppen. My Osttruppen are currently pinned down by this 50 cal, but it's fine. As long as they remain in cover and just distract the 50 cal, I'm able to just get mortar rounds onto that, so that's fine. And these Osttruppen are spreading out to the right side, again, to just take as much ground as I can and sort of block off the advance of the 2 airborne rifle squads that we spotted here earlier. My Osttruppen aren't going to be able to match up to Osttruppen in any way whatsoever, but the idea is just to hold them back as long as I can. And since I've solidified my ground here, I'm going to be bringing up a B2 to help me out. And that's the first thing that I'm going to do, which is fine. I'm playing against 101st, and I know that now. And they're not going to have any decent tanks other than the Locust in Phase A to really contest. So I can very much be safe bringing in a B2, and even if it brings in AT guns, you know, I've got IG-18s everywhere at the moment. I'm pretty clumped up. This isn't ideal, but it's still Phase A, and off-map artillery isn't a thing for either of the decks we're playing against, so I can get away with that for now. Over on the right side, Val's being hit pretty hard, honestly. I don't think he quite had an answer for all of the half tracks he was up against, and didn't invest in enough AT guns to really stop them from running over his infantry. And since he has Ostrupen and MG34s, none of these have anti-tank, you know, weapons, right? So as long as the opponent is engaging his infantry with their own infantry and then using the 50 cals as fire support, he's always going to lose those engagements. And even here, like Grenadier Squad, he's trying to run that to the point where it can throw in its 50-meter grenades, but just gets hit by the 50 cal and forced to surrender. Mustangs are going to come in here with their bombs and blow up my Ostrupen, which are engaging the airborne rifles, and this is a bit of a problem because if he gets rid of those, a big pocket could form in the middle of my lines. Brought up a second command unit here, and I've got my B2 arriving with some recon so that I can really like spot what's ahead of me and try and move forwards. Because he's still got the 50 cals here, and he's got some infantry on his far left side, but he's only got like an airborne rifles here and airborne rifles back here. Obviously I don't know this because I don't have recon, so I'm bringing in recon to find that out, and then I can use the B2 to actually push towards these units because the B2 can remain out of range and do serious amount of damage alongside the IG-18s while the Ostrupen draw their fire. That's how I move forwards with this deck. What happens here is I let the airborne rifles get too close. Big mistake on my part. I should have definitely told my Ostrupen to fall back a lot sooner. So I lose them because I was busy micromanaging stuff on the left side and watching my AT gun on the right side get pinned down. So yeah, that sucked. But he did manage to force a half-track to surrender there, so that's one of them down and just many to go. Ostrupen here managing to get into range with their grenades and trying to take out the machine gun of that half-track, having a go many times over and finally get the kill. So Ostrupen can kill half-tracks, you just got to be in 50-meter range and throw about 10 grenades to make it happen. So my opponent now has made a gap in my territory, which is annoying, leaving us at 50-50, and this is a big problem because we don't have anything to deal with this. However, Val actually makes our opponents invest into 2 Mustangs after he's invested into ME-109, so at least we traded those points in effective aircraft. But as soon as Val's ME-109s are off the map, it actually allows him to just strafe my units, and you can see here the Ostrupen just getting wrecked by airborne rifles as my opponent continues to swing right. He knows there's nothing in front of him, so he doesn't have to like move forwards to keep this map influence from coming up here, right? So he's just going to move right and continue to engage all of my units on this side, and this is a problem. So I'm bringing in some infantry now. We're in phase B, so I have my Italian infantry available. They're the only thing that can really not even match up to the airborne rifles, but can stop them from making so much ground. So yeah, bringing these guys up. Going to bring up a Befehlpanzer 35S. This is basically not only to just provide fire support, but also just to provide veterancy to the infantry there, whilst I go and deal with the airborne rifles. So the only reason the territory is currently 50-50 is because they've got this pocket. As soon as that goes back, we get our lead back, and that's what we're trying to achieve right now, or at least I am on my left flank. Because I'm well over 50%, like the 50% mark on this side is like here. I think it's about here, so yeah, I'm well over that at the moment, trying to make some ground with my Ostrupen where I can. But now he's brought in the off-map artillery, and I can see that, like, plain and clear, like, straight bang in the middle of the road. That is just out of range, though, of anything that I have available. So I just got to see it coming. Like, at this point, it comes in, and there's not too much I can do about that. It blows up most of my infantry on that side. I'm just going to fall back my IG-18 as soon as possible, and if we jump to neutral perspective, he actually has a second one. So he has 2 off-map artilleries already. And what's going to happen is, well, Val's actually going to go for the kill onto the 4 GPA, but he's going to get ambushed by all of these Mustangs, and it would have been fine. Like, Val sacrificing his ME-109s for this kill would have been good if the kill had actually happened, but it doesn't, and the P-51 Mustangs get both of these kills, which is absolutely tragic, because it was a great idea by Val. Like, if he'd got that kill, it would have just relieved so much pressure on my flank. This guy would have potentially lost like 2-3 artillery barrages. He's used 1 so far. But there goes an IG-18 due to all of the air spam that's coming in now. P-51 Mustangs out their arse and gonna kill that IG-18. fair enough. We went for a play that didn't work, and we really paid for it with those ME-109s and lost complete air control. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, in hindsight, was it worth it? I think it still was. We didn't have air superiority in the first place because Mustangs always beat ME-109s. So Val trying to use his ME-109s to get that kill was definitely worth a try. On the right side, Val's kind of stabilizing. He's using Panzer 35s to kill off the half tracks, which is a decent idea. He's also brought up Flak 88. My Pak 40 is still very much alive over there. But look at this, more off-map artillery. This one was equally brutal. He was going for like the double artillery strikes onto my position, and this one just absolutely savaged my Osttruppen to the point where they're basically completely ineffective. Like 2-man squads. I mean, come on, like they're gonna get like insta-killed by airborne rifles, and this is an airborne engineer squad, and you can see that he's just gonna suicide run towards those since they are basically pinned down constantly. But I'm gonna get my Grenadier up. These guys, I mean, I lost one of my squads here, one of my infantry command, so I'm bringing up the second one just to make sure that these guys don't surrender. These guys should have been falling back, but I didn't, because that was my bad again. I was really not very good at using the fullback mechanic in this game, because it would have saved a lot of my Osttruppen most of the time. Like here he's just getting the napalm on target when that's just going to be 2 like Osttruppen kills that I could have saved and then like had in these buildings. Although I do know he has off-map artillery at this point. I'm bringing up a Flak 88 here. This is to shoot down the road at anything that comes. I do have an IG-18 as well, but this literally just presents a target for his off-map, so that was probably a really bad idea. But what I'm doing instead is I'm going to get my Panzer B2s to try and do something. So just brought these back over from the right side to assist on the left side. These tanks can't be killed by off-map like infantry can, so this is my best bet to like hold the line after artillery comes in, and well, there goes the off-map again and crushes my Flak 88 squad in 1 hit, which was rather depressing, and there goes my Flak 88 as well, and presents a massive hole in my line. So after that strike comes in, that's when I move in my B2s to cover. So I was literally waiting for these artillery strikes. I knew they were coming. There was nothing I could do about them. I just have to wait with what I have, and then basically bring in the B2s to hold back the wave of infantry that he's going to push in afterwards. That's the plan. So I'm holding elsewhere. MG42 is doing the job. Over on the right side, ME-109G0 going to be coming in trying to kill off the Marauder. Actually doesn't manage to do too much, and then a Mustang is going to get on its tail there, which isn't great at all. Yeah, Val's going to lose that one as well. So yeah, that sucks, because his Flak 88 was actually stunned at this point because it got bombed, and it's also going to get killed off here by the P-51 Mustang. These Flak 88s are just like supreme. These guys are just targets. They really are. Oh, it was actually the mortar in the end that takes it out, but either way, it still goes down, and that's going to basically cause any air engagement to go in the opponent's favor. We're still running a +1 though, this is the thing. My Osttruppen up here are still pushing, and I'm still pushing forwards with B2s. You got to remember that even though he has like 2 off-map artilleries, that's like 300 points that he hasn't invested in infantry. So I'm at this point trying to make some ground. But what ends up happening here is as I try and move my B2 into cover, it basically gets hit by the 6-pounder in the side armor. Panzer 35 here also goes down. Another off-map artillery comes in here. That was like 2 off-map artilleries. One kills an IG-33, one kills a Flak 88. My 6-pounder, or this 6-pounder kills the B2. And yeah, that's my bad. I shouldn't have moved up these B2s so far. I got a bit over-ambitious there. Keeping these B2s just for the purpose that I literally talked about would have been ideal. But what I ended up doing was getting that one killed for free. And that was stupid, because now I don't have anything to defend against infantry. Well, I have this one, but it's falling back for now, which is fine. I know he has an AT gun now, so I'm not going to do the same thing, hopefully. And then I've just got to keep this Panzer 35 in cover. So the way that I'm trying to counter the off-map artillery at the moment is using armoured vehicles. I obviously have brought in my fire support as usual, the IG-33 and the 88, but I think it actually took me a little while to realise that he brought in both off-map artilleries at the same time, because the first and second time, or even third time that he used it, I was like, oh, okay, he's used 3 artillery strikes, I'm okay now. But then, like, I just got hit by 2 more at the same time, and I realised that literally half my infantry is dead, and I'm in a bad spot. So I'm just going to bring up another Flak 88, why not, you know? There is his off-map. I'm just going to pick that off, but it's probably used up all its strikes by now, so that wasn't even a decent kill. And I'm also just going to bring up my Flak 88 here, and that's going to get on target to the 50 cal and also the AT gun there. AT gun is going to kill my vehicle. Probably shouldn't have let that happen, that was just a free kill, and well, with the 50 cal, 1 health just pins down my Flak 88, so I'm just going to have to fall that back straight away. Bringing up another IG-18. Everything that I'm bringing up is literally just to stop infantry, even at like a Flak 88, it's literally stopping the overwhelming like push, because as you can see here, I did zoom into this during the game. He's got a Sherman, so I do need some sort of AT, and Flak 88s, for the amount of air presence he has, can do both, so that's basically what happens in this game. But what I should have done, in hindsight, is actually kept a lot of these Flak 88s hidden. Just had them there, because as you can see, happens again. Off-map artillery, boom, goes my IG-18. My Flak 88 sitting there, just waiting for a strike to land on its head. And yeah, it's not great. So the idea of bringing in Flak 88s was a good one, just not letting them be seen would have been better. Yes, they would have maybe fired enemy aircraft and revealed their position that way, but at least they would have had to get closer to fire the artillery strikes, because I should have had like an 88 here, for example, 88 here, maybe an 88 here, so that I have those in position for if they try and break through with armor. 88 does manage to get a shot off there, and as you can see, we can't quite see down the road at the moment. M4's like creeping up. Still have a B2 alive, so he can't really push in with infantry. I'm just holding with what I have at the moment. I have a wall of Osttroopen on this right side with some Italian infantry like in between, with an IG-18 moving up as well. This MG34 is covering this MG34 here, stopping the engineers from killing that, but bombing strikes are going to be coming in from the P-51 Mustang. So currently we're dealing with off-map artillery, aircraft that we don't have anything to deal with, and yeah. Because I can bring in more Flak 88s, but I just feel like I'm going to get constantly RT'd at this point, so I did manage to weapon damage the M4, which neutralizes that as a threat, and I've got another Flak 88 coming up. And you're probably wondering why I'm bringing up Flak 88s as opposed to like more tanks or even infantry, but at this point I've brought in both my B2s, which are 2 of my tanks, and then the only other 2 tanks that I have, I think, are Samuas. So I could have brought in all of my Samuas just to like defend against infantry, but it's a bit counterintuitive. I've brought up some Italian infantry just to try and make some ground, and I am running low on availability since so much of my infantry was killed, but I managed to pick off the M4 there, so that's alright. Another Flak 88 is brought all the way up. I definitely moved this one way too far forwards. I should have dropped this off just before it peaked, rather than letting the M1 gun actually kill the carrying unit, because what happens if, like, as you can see, if that carrying units get blown up right next to a Flak 88, it gets instant stunned and is completely useless. In this case, there's a glider rifle squad right next to me as well, which isn't like the biggest deal in the world, but still enough to like kill off my Flak 88 if I let it. So I'm just going to wheel that back with the fullback mechanic, and here Locust's going to come in. I've got an AT gun waiting for that, so that's just going to pop that and kill it. Tried to take out the Avkleller and completely failed. So AB rifles trying to push forwards. They've managed to take 1 hedgerow. This is how much land they've gained from all these artillery strikes. And here's where the M1 gun is going to take out my second B2. Again, this was greedy. I moved it way too far forwards and I paid for it with a AT gun to the face. So yeah, with my second B2 down, this is a big problem because he can continue to off-map me. I know that this deck has the capability of bringing in 6 off-map artillery vehicles. It has the 352mm off-map, which I think he's used all of at this point, and then he can get off-map carriers with like slightly less, but they still do a lot of damage. I think it's over 200mm artillery. But I brought up all my Flak 88s here. I'm trying to use them to not only take out air units, but also kill ground units at the moment. As you can see, they do have 5 HE power, which is quite potent, and they have 45 ammunition, so decent for like blowing up infantry squads and pinning them down. Like this Gryla rifle just got hammered there, and also this AT gun on the right. I can kill these things nice and easy, right? That's the idea. And since he's used all his off-map artillery, in theory, I can try and get away with this. And you can see here, P-51 Mustangs are going to be coming in, but, well, there's one more artillery strike I didn't account for, and goodbye to the Flak AD8s. Yeah. And, well, with them all pinned down, he can just come in with the bombers and, well, just ruin my day entirely. My entire line literally just collapsed. That was 2 off-map 350 6mm RTs. He also has 2 203mm off-maps. Remember we killed one of the 4 GPA OPs already? And he's got 2 more of these M3 OPs. Luckily, he didn't have enough infantry on the ground to push me hard enough after each artillery strike. So in this case, he's got 4 units of artillery that are attacking me, or infantry that are attacking me. I'm bringing up another IG, actually this was just a standard mortar, bringing up another Flak AD8, that's going to give me a machine gun vehicle, 2 more infantry squads just to hold this off. I've got an ME-109, I kind of went cheekily for the kill onto the B-26 because I had so many flaks. What I failed to basically take into account for was that they were all pinned at this point, so lost an aircraft of 3 there. If I'd waited a little bit longer, I maybe would have been able to take out a couple of these Mustangs, because as you can see they are getting hit eventually by the Flak 88s. But here comes a rocket strike onto one of the Flak 88s, and that takes me back down to a total count of 2. But we are still running the +1. Val's managed to poke a little hole in the middle. He's, like I said, stabilized the right side. He is losing a bit of ground over here, but he's just using an Osttrooper to take that back. But I'm well over halfway still. I'm literally still over halfway. So halfway is like, again, here. He's slowly getting closer to the halfway point. But my initial Phase A push is enough at the moment to hold him back. And more off-map artillery coming in, 2 more strikes on all of my shit. Gonna blow up another Flak 88, and well, things to learn in this game are A, don't clump infantry so much, B, don't like Osttruppen die freely or get surrendered easily to enemy units. So for example in here, where the gap went, whoa, it went all the way down and we went 50-50 for like ages. That shouldn't have happened, because I should have fallen back my Osttruppen and kept them alive. And they would have maintained the front line there, and then we would have maintained a +1 for longer, right? But that ended up letting them get killed, and the same happened here. 2 units of Osttruppen die for free, and I need all of the infantry I can get against all of these like off maps. I'm not complaining that the off maps, you know, stupidly OP, even though I feel it does need like a nerf in some respect. But just in general, like I could have done stuff to play around it. First of all, not let my B2s get killed. You know, like I drove forwards with my B2s when I should have just remained defensive. I had no reason to try and push for more ground, because it would have taken me quite a lot of ground to actually, you know, gain a +2, for example. So there's no point. I should have just kept like a B2 here, a B2 here, and just covered both these roads from infantry advance, and just these tree lines from infantry advance. He's currently pushing back against me with these glider rifles. He's actually run out of his own airborne rifles at this point, because I've killed so many of them with my own fire support, but he's relied so much on off-map and his air force, and he's actually not made too much ground because he didn't invest in enough infantry to take advantage of his earlier strikes. Yes, I still had loads of Osttruppen here, but he still definitely could have tried to push onto it. Bringing up another command unit just to make these Italian infantry recover their morale quicker. Yes, they're all under fire and they're all pinned down, but most of that's due to like artillery fire, like mortar fire and stuff. So just trying to wait, get into a position where I can just continue to move forwards the Italian infantry. I don't want to fall back at this point, because I don't want the don't want to lose our like +1 lead, but eventually we do, obviously. There's a 50-50 going on at the moment. Another off-map artillery first shot kills my command unit, and Well, that was completely pointless to bring in, and well, IG 33 going to be going down, and this is like the story of this game. It's literally in a nutshell. Flak 88's dead, IG 33 is dead. I mean, for real, let's just look at this. Just how sad. How sad can it get? I don't know. Anyway, so many off-map artillery. This is like the power of the 101st right now. It's just their off-map capability. There's no way that they would have won without it, and well, they haven't won yet. So we are still holding on as strongly as I can. I've managed to get my Italian infantry into cover eventually after they get hit by even more artillery. Currently he has even the M3 howitzers. So his basically artillery tab consists of 2 M3 howitzers, 2 cards of the 4GPOP 356mm off map, and then he has some M3 OPs, the 203. I don't think he actually had 4 of these. He definitely could have had 4 of these on his deck. You can have, and I do have them in my own 101st deck, which is why I'm not complaining so much about the off map being a thing. It's more my mistake just not playing against it, you know, like properly. I didn't spread out my infantry enough. I didn't, you know, I let Ostrupen go too quickly. I let my B2s die. You know, all these things add up to the point where he can actually push infantry after these artillery strikes. Initially, he couldn't, because I had all of those assets available, like the Samuras and all sorts of stuff. But they're all dead now, and there's nothing to stop him from pushing towards me. I brought up a Flampanzer B2. Maybe I should have brought this up sooner, honestly, rather than a Flak 88, but honestly, all I've got to do at this point is hold on. They've got 10 minutes to win the game and get over 1,221 points. We've been accumulating that for most of the game, and in the middle of the map we are making a lot of ground thanks to Val. So he's still holding on this right side. Akula's actually managed to get some infantry forwards. Val's just bringing in loads of Fusiliers to fight that off because he's running really low on infantry at this point. He has a Jagdpanther to hold off against the tank spam here. He's got some M4 A3s and stuff coming in. Since this is a 3rd armored deck he's playing up against, 150 points per minute in phase C is pretty horrific. But he does have a Jagdpanther to help him deal with that, so that's okay. Yeah, let's just watch this Jagdpanther, like, just go ham. Over on the left side, this is just, again, pretty sad. B-26 Marauder comes in, bombs the crap out of my stuff, and yeah, it's not very fun. It's just not very fun. There's nothing I can do to, like, counterplay at this point. I'm pretty sure he's used up the majority of his off-map. Not too much more of it coming in at the moment. All of these Italian infantry squads being taken down to 1 man, and because his glider rifle's just gonna take them out. Fair enough, you know. At this point, these guys in this position are pretty useless. So I don't know. I've shown the reasoning for keeping 1-man squads alive, but at this point, I didn't think there was much of a difference between having a 1-man squad here or not, because he's going to be pushing on me with loads of infantry anyway. So anyway, Flampanzer is trying to help out. It's killing. Well, basically, yeah, killing off the guided rifles here, which is nice. I've got an Italian infantry on the far left holding some ground. I brought up Opel Blitz munition to resupply the Werframmen that I've brought up, and if we go to the neutral perspective, what I'm trying to do here is take out this AT gun. So in comes the off-map. That's actually going to hit some reinforcements as they come in as well. I took out a couple units there, and this basically secures my Flampanzer to keep killing off his infantry. And, I mean, considering how much damage he's done to me, he doesn't have, like, that much substance here. He's got glider leader, airborne leader, he's got 50 cal, he's got 2 airborne engineers that he just brought in, and a glider rifles that's retreating. So I've really held. A lot of his points got invested into off-map that did an absolute ton of damage. But like I said, I've held, and that's really what matters at this point. And we got a little bubble going in the middle. We're actually making a +1 again, since Bao actually broke through the infantry that was probing his right flank. So it's making back some ground there. Massive concentration from the armored player on this right side is not actually a surprise in any way. And Val did unfortunately lose his Jagdpanther somewhere, so that's a bit of a problem for him. But I mean, it's 7 minutes left. Again, we're still gaining a +1. Val's probed in the middle, managed to break through with these grenadiers, for example. Over here, this MG34 actually managed to pin down the airborne engineers before it got killed unfairly by the P-51D Mustang. That was a guy's moment to shine, and the P-51 snatched victory away. Although, look at them, sat in their position they once were, being burnt to death. Poor fellas. Either way, over on the left side, what can I solidify my left side with? Well, Flampanzer here is actually starting to use its flamethrower to kill off infantry as they reveal themselves. And I've still got one man on this Flak 88 pushing forwards, and well, what happens at this point is our opponents realise they can't win, although they probably could have won, and they surrender. So after 33 minutes and 36 seconds, we win the game. And I don't think they really should have surrendered then, because the third armoured player definitely had a decent chance of pushing through Val to a major points lead. I'm not quite sure though if they had the time to really bring it back, even with like a +3 though. I'm not sure. Either way, I would have liked to see them try, but it didn't end up that way, and like I said, we won in the end. After that major Pyrrhic victory. And I know it says defeat again. I had to go back and put this back into the neutral perspective so that we could get the end screen. If we jump to the team perspective, well, we can see that I got 1,202 kills to 3,050 losses. Pyrrhic victory, boys. This is how you do it. So what it really came down to is the fact that I managed to push him back off the houses in Phase A, and then I managed to hold the ground long enough that they couldn't get back to like a +1 on us in order to build up those points to win. And yeah, Big Rat there, the majority of his points invested in like off-map. What ended up happening was because he spent 200 points on the last two, he spent 700 points on actually no, it would have been 500 points on off-map artillery out of his total, like, I don't know, say 1,500 in like Phase A and B. That's like a lot of points to spend on artillery, to the point where he probably didn't have enough on the ground to take advantage of it. So there is a point, I think, where you can overinvest in artillery and it doesn't become as effective as it could be, although in this case, it was extremely effective. It did kill a lot of my stuff. I think I had the B2s in the right place at the right time, although I let them get killed quickly. The Ostrupen went down way too easily in certain cases. But yeah, keeping those B2 alive really would have been a nice idea. And keeping the Flak 88s hidden so they didn't die so easily would have been good. Then I would have been able to create like a Flak 88 wall, and that would have really worked out for me. Maybe had them so far back that the opponent would have had to move his artillery forwards in order to actually hit them with off-map. Or maybe just have them so spread out that he would have to use like a strike to kill each one individually. Whereas in some cases he was hitting like multiple support units at the same time, so like an IG-18 and a Flak 88, where I could have just had an IG-18 and then had the Flak 88 elsewhere. This was something that I really picked up in this game, but it did definitely put me off using the 716th, because I just feel like if you lose too many units, yeah, you can continue to bring them up, but you can get run over very quickly. Fortunately for me, I did manage to hold. If we jump over to the kills, or even losses in this case, this is unfortunately the third armoured's kills and losses compared to Val's, but we can have a quick look at this. This M4A1 really caused Val issues in the early game. It killed his Pak 38, which basically left him with no AT on the far right. It killed his Panda 3 again, same thing. This M21 MMC, that killed off, look, Flak 41, Flak 38, Pak 40, Pak 41. This is an anti-aircraft gun, I believe. Shredding his fire support units at close range. M4A3 with a 105mm gun, again taking out my Pak 40 and the Flak 41. The armoured player definitely did well, and he managed to use the M4A3 here to kill the Ag Panther, so Val on that right side was having a bit of a hard time. Did manage to make back some ground in the middle and on the far right at the end of the game, which definitely put us at a +1 again, which was quite interesting. I think the enemy just eventually just gave up on their pushes that were being so unsuccessful, even though they were killing a lot of things. And I guess that's where infantry divisions come in handy, right? They're just completely attritional. They're like, if you want to take some ground, you want to pay for it. Like, you're gonna have to pay for it. And that's basically what this video really showed. But like I said, already a lot of points that I already mentioned about how I could have played better personally. And it's a shame I can't show you my kills and losses, because it really told the story of how it went. Because a lot of the kills were onto the off map as opposed to ground units. Airborne Rifles got quite a lot of kills in the early game, but he ran out of them. So there you go. Either way, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. This was the 3rd ranked game that me and Val played together, and I hope to play more with him in the future. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.